Good evening, everyone. This has been some wild ride. This might be the last live stream I do before the election, but you never know what tomorrow brings. And we may have to do another one if something crazy happens in White Plains. I truly thank you all for putting up with me. This has been absolutely amazing. My team is phenomenal. I've mentioned them before. I will throw a shout out to them again. Lucas, who's been handling the campaign, and Leo, who's been handling the media, have just been phenomenal. They've been angels to me. It's been unbelievable. So I just want to fill everybody in what's been going on. Again, it's infrastructure problems all over again. I was at the council meeting tonight, and I spoke at Citizens to be Heard. There will be another hearing for the Galleria. We have Roberto Rapari, who will be speaking at that hearing to really keep everybody informed of what's going on. But I also found out that we don't have the audio from what I said at the council meeting. So I hate to bore everybody, but I'm going to just, so it's public, I want everybody to hear what I said. And I'm going to read the thing in its entirety. So, good evening. I am trying to be respectful while I'm extremely disappointed in our current local government. At the start of my candidacy, I exposed the city's infrastructure from Fire Station 2, City Center, garages, and especially the library garage. On August 14th, I posted everywhere about our crumbling garages. On September 9th, at the WPCNA forum, I reaffirmed my sincere concern. I was challenged to give one example. I was able to immediately give several. While I was mocked for criticizing the lack of safety protocols that have been neglected, I continued my pursuit of uncovering dangerous conditions. I posted a video prior to the partial collapse of the Westchester 1 garage. I then found out that the nurses from White Plains Hospital were told to park at the Galleria West garage. To make it clear that there may be a clear and present danger, I posted another video exposing severe issues in this garage on October 26th. The city then condemned the Galleria West garage only 4 days later on October 30th. I have been continually warning of problems with the library garage. There is tremendous water infiltration. You can see it with cracks in the floor, the exposed steel throughout. The columns that hold up the garage, and indeed the library itself, are of great concern to me. Keep in mind, if my memory serves me correctly, the county performed extensive repairs to their side of the complex 15 to 20 years ago. The city has not. The drainage has not been repaired, the steel is exposed, and I personally believe that this garage is at risk. The steel within these slabs has been exposed to water and has deteriorated. This deterioration caused the steel to expand and spoil the concrete. This is visible throughout. Also, with winter almost upon us, keep in mind that if the slabs have been infiltrated with water, the resulting ice exhibits 30,000 psi of force on the concrete, creating even more damage. And we also have the library building on top of it. If the library garage and building are safe, an engineering report produced by a licensed professional engineer, licensed in the state of New York, should be published for public viewing. The report should include a chain test, possibly x-raying of the slabs and core samples. There should be no reason that this is not done for transparency's sake. This is critical in order to restore some modicum of trust and decency for this government. We can later talk about where has all the parking revenue been going. In the past, this revenue was applied towards normal maintenance that has not been done as of late. So those were my remarks to the council. And I don't think they were very happy. because I think it exposes that, just what's been going on. They're talking about grandiose projects, anything to get points without actually worrying about the things that matter to all of us. Now, can you imagine those nurses who were parking at Westchester 1 and they escape, thank God, without severe injury or death? And then they're told to park in another garage and it's condemned right after that. What's next? So, this is one thing. I have gotten calls, but I haven't been able to verify all of them. But I've gotten calls about elevators in White Plains. We always posted the elevator certificates in the elevators, and people have said they haven't been seeing them. So we asked some people, and they came back and they verified that at least in a couple of cases, there weren't any. Now, in White Plains, it was my understanding, unless it changed, that they were supposed to be placed in public viewing in the elevator car. Now, in some towns, they could say you can put them, the superintendent has them, or they're in the lobby. But in White Plains, it was always within the car. I didn't have time to check if there was a change, but I'd like to do that as well. So I do want to move on. There's been so much going on over the last few days. We are pursuing this about the garages. We're going to continue to pursue it no matter what happens. I pray and hope we will be successful tomorrow night. And again, thank all of you for tuning in. But we're going to keep pursuing this and hold people to task. I might also say that if anybody watched the council meeting, it got a little fiery in there tonight. Wouldn't you say, Lucas?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yes, it was a little fiery tonight. So we're going to move right to questions. So Gene asked what's going on with the council and the Galleria project right now. So what I understand is they have another hearing going on about the zoning. People are very upset at what's going on. I don't think the people really knew. I'm very proud of the campaign because we brought a lot of things to light. That has not happened. And I think we're going to be successful. But it's very important that we brought these things to light, that they combined the zoning for city property garage use with the Galleria retail use to make all of it, residential and some retail. And that's so that the public couldn't really weigh in on the garage. That's my feeling. And I think I'm correct in that. We should not have had them bundled. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to push that through. That's my guess. I think what their excuse is going to be, I've been thinking about a lot. How did they let that Galleria garage with check beams and everything, a mess in there, continue like they did? Is that they probably planned on selling it anyway. But there's one thing that troubles me about that. What about the library? They did the same thing there. What about in back of City Center? So I'm not sure I'm correct there. I'd like other people to weigh in. But I have a feeling they're going to push the zoning through. That's what they're talking about tonight. And we'll find out. Victor, I am a White Plains Dem, and for full transparency, I did not vote for you. However, I couldn't be more glad that your campaign has been about the issues over party. For years, the Dem Party has been focused on defeating the other side rather than focusing on the issues people actually care about. Your focus on the issues like the garages is very admirable. Thank you so much. I wish you did vote for me, honestly. Convince somebody else to cancel out your last vote. Convince somebody to vote for me if you would. But seriously, no, I mean, that's what it was all about. This isn't about party. I'm born and raised here. I work for the city. And when I tell you, when I worked for the city for 21 years, anybody who worked there knows my car was always there. I was probably there the latest most nights, there very early in the morning, and worked weekends. And I was salaried, and I did it all the time. That's the only way we got done what we got done in such a short period of time. So thank you so much. My heart has been truly in it. I appreciate that. Skin Chanted CBD. Way to go, Lenny. Best of luck. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay, some other questions are coming in. Homelessness plan. So this is a tough issue because it's not only here, to be fair, but we aren't doing really enough about it. We don't see it as bad in other surrounding towns, in some of them, as we have it. What has to happen is the county has social services and they're supposed to have facilities for this. We're going to have to pressure the county to make sure they have enough facilities. It is truly not humane to have people sleep on the street. I have heard all kinds of things. We're not allowed to pick them up. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. I don't know, because we have people that, that are either mentally ill, addicted, or they had a real troubling problem happen to them. They need help. And very often we pick them up when something really bad has happened to them, then we release them right back on the street. That's not what should be done. We need to get these people the proper treatment, and so we just don't put them back on the street. I have seen homeless people get picked up and put in ambulances and carried away, and we don't know if they're going to make it because they've been sleeping on the street. Where are their facilities? Where do they wash up? Nobody's worried about this. Obviously, they don't have them. So what's happening to our streets, our parking garages, or anywhere? The people need help. We have to pressure the county to provide enough facilities and treatment for these people. It is the humane thing to do. Dominic. Hey, Lenny, what happened with the lawsuit court appearance today? So that we got a little delay because the court changed their procedures. We were over there. They changed the procedures. And I apologize about that, but we have them all written. I mean, where's a stack of the papers? I can show you them. I can wave them in front of you. We have them. There they are. There's some of them. So as you can see, we have them. So we did a lot of work on this today, and we're moving forward. It is something that we have to make sure that they follow through. I truly am worried about the library garage in that building. We're not even talking about what if, a lot of things could happen. What if we had an earthquake here? And I'm not talking a serious one. We're not used to that, but we have had tremors. And if that's weak, what's going to happen? And keep in mind, people are driving on that ramp. Just look up when you're driving on the ramp down into the garage. Go below to the lower level and look up at the ramp and tell me if you feel safe. And then think about if you got an electric car that's 30% heavier. What does that mean? So we have to make sure they get this done. Now, it's not going to be easy because you're never supposed to let it go that far. You're not supposed to let the salt penetrate the slab and get to the steel. It happens because there was a year they didn't do proper maintenance. Then you must keep it dry. You have to coat those slabs annually. They have to have a membrane on them so the water can't activate the chlorides to attack the steel, which expands and blows out the concrete. This is just standard stuff that that happens to garages. I also understand that because of the solar panels, they get snow on the top floor of some of the garages, and I've seen it. I've seen salters go up there. You never put salt on a garage either. But I don't think that was ever thought of. I don't think it was thought of that, hey, the top floor now is exposed, still gets snow on it because it whips around under the panels, and it doesn't get sunlight. So they don't know what to do about that. So there's things that are happening that nobody's really talking about. And I'm learning just by going around, I'm learning more and more. And I thought I knew quite a bit, having worked here for 21 years, but I'm learning even more. So we're really going to have to address a lot and keep that going. Lisa, in light of the fact that parking structures are an issue, would you consider a shuttle that travel to and from the train station downtown? Well, we may have to do something depending on how bad things are. So I would consider it. We'd still have to find a place for people. Even with the shuttle, where are we putting the parking? We've given up so much green space in the past. Um, it's really, really tough. We're going to have to do a full assessment of our existing structures. If we have to build one, do we have to go bigger to handle the increased load as we take down another to rebuild? That may be the case. Because understand, as we work on these, we're going to have to chip away at the loose concrete and then examine the steel and try to find good steel to weld to fix and repair these. If you can't do that, if you're not finding good steel, we got a major problem. This all has to be looked at, and I will be transparent about it. And we will have a committee analyzing this so everybody's informed. If you do everything right, no reason not to be transparent. Mama Zerk, DBW reasons for removing campaign signs. And was it overtime? So it was done on a weekend, so I'm assuming it was overtime. And look, they have the right to remove them on public areas, and I can't control where everybody puts signs. There's no way I can do that. There's a lot of exuberance in the campaign. And they have the right to do that. However, people have been sending me video after video of people going on their lawns and removing signs. That's a problem. And then what we got word back is, well, some of them may have been in the city right away. Really? My opponent's signs are up to the curb on people's lawns. Up to the curb. So I don't get that. Why did they walk on people's lawns and take it? And I haven't heard anybody say that they took out a measuring tape to check the city setback. So it's a little odd what happened. Granted, I know a lot of people were upset by it, but thank you. Victor, one question I do have is, what are your thoughts on the increased cannabis dispensaries throughout the city? Your thoughts on cannabis overall? I've seen a lot of concern on local Facebook groups, but I've been to multiple dispensaries in White Plains, and all have been very professional and make sure to always check IDs. So I've heard that as well. I've heard that some are extremely professional. I myself do not use cannabis, but that's just me. I've never been one to tell other people what to do. But what we've seen is an increased number of them in a row. Like, people are complaining about Mamaroneck Avenue. Like, how many are we going to have? And I understand people's concern. I think it's something we have to talk about. And I've heard there's been places illegally selling it on Mamaroneck Avenue. I've heard many reports of that. And that we can't allow as well. We want everybody to be safe. We want a family-friendly atmosphere. I prefer, and a lot of people are upset by this, I prefer if people weren't smoking all down Mamaroneck Avenue. Because how are you supposed to walk down Mamaroneck Avenue with your young child? I get it. I get the concern. We have to really look at what is the balance to keep people's freedoms, but maintain a family-friendly atmosphere. And I don't have every single answer, but I can tell you I'm about balance. So we're going to have to strike that balance, and I'm going to reach out to people in the community. And you're welcome. God willing, I get elected, you're welcome to talk to me about this, and we get differing views to figure out how to come to that balance. So thank you. Anna, Lenny, why did they ruin Delfino Park with tennis bubbles? That's been a pet peeve of mine. That is city property, and it's a park for the public. So they put a private entity there, I guess, to try to make money. So they put a private entity there so the people in White Plains can't use it unless they pay a private entity. I have a serious problem with that. I truly do. Always have. Didn't like it from the start. First of all, I think it's ugly. That's one thing. Again, personal opinion, but I don't like the idea that public land has been being used for profit while we need more parkland. So I appreciate that. Scott, good evening, Lenny. I never felt compelled to vote for county city elections before, but hearing you speak about White Plains has motivated me to. I am leaving New York in January, but I want to leave believing true improvements will take place. P.S. I saw another vandalized sign on Battle Hill today. My question for Lenny is, how do you plan to address the over-aggressive parking enforcement in White Plains? It doesn't invite consumers to want to shop when traveling by motor vehicle. So this has been another pet peeve of mine. And truly, I don't blame any parking enforcement people. This is driven by the policies of White Plains, by the leadership. Like I said before, where's the revenue been going? It's going in the general fund, which it looks like that's how it works now. What is it being spent on? I think we're very heavy at the top, where we need more employees, more fire, more police, more DPW workers, more building department workers in each department. I can name a bunch, because those have been declining. Plus, we're at the lower end of the pay scales as well, which I don't like that. I mean, I worked for the city side by side, most of these people, and it's distressing. The parking is, yes, we have to have some fines. We can't have people just leaving them everywhere, but this should be community driven as well. I always thought we should have had for residents a discounted rate. That's one thing. In addition, we used to have a grace period. Understand that when you park and you use the app, they know exactly when your space is going to be up. So they could be extremely aggressive, but that's why a grace period was added. That was my understanding anyway. But I don't see that being honored. And, this is, to me, all driven by leadership. And I think we should make it more family friendly. We have to provide better parking, more parking, and be a little more friendly with how we handle it. But that has to be policy. So people don't come down on the parking enforcement officer who is just doing their job. So I think that is critical. We have to do it by policy because we are chasing people away. Other places, other communities have free parking. So why are they going to come here? Yes, we now have become addicted to the revenue, and that's a problem. So what we have to do is we have to figure out a way how to make this work. So I agree with you completely. We have to make it more inviting. We're killing our businesses. I've had businesses tell me that when they're unloading their stuff, they use their personal van one day to go pick up some goods for their shop. And they pull in the loading zone and they're going to be there a minute and they get a ticket because it doesn't have commercial plates. We have to, now that might be the letter of the law, but we were never this aggressive. So they're being pushed. That's my take on that, but thank you. Suzanne, great meeting you today while picking up our replacement sign that was stolen over the weekend. We need you to take back White Plains, Lenny. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming back and getting a replacement sign. You're one of many people who said they just walked up on their lawn and took the sign. And we didn't see that for the other side. Just saying. So, but thank you very much for that. Vinny, how would you go about to get the empty stores of Mamaroneck Avenue full again? The rents are very high. Would there be any incentives to landlords? That's something that always troubled me. I do have to find out more ways to do that. One is the parking situation. I believe that'll really help. The other thing is I want to make sure there's no disincentives. Because I had heard years ago that the tax structure may have an issue. There may be an issue with that on vacant properties. I want to make sure that there is incentives to rent the place rather than disincentives to rent it. So that will definitely be looked into. Again, that is a tough one. White Plains has been plagued with this. And there may be many reasons. One, we have to make it family friendly. We have to make it safe. We have to make it clean. We have to provide great parking. If you do all those things, these local shops and restaurants could be very, very profitable. And we got to work with the landlords to figure out why does it pay for them to leave it vacant? They'll leave it vacant for years. Why not collect some rent? Why is it better for them to leave it vacant? So to me, there's a disincentive from them to rent, and that's a problem. So, but thank you. Victor, one of your ideas I thought was great was council districts. Born and raised in the Battle Hill area, year after year, I'm voting for council members. I've never seen one come to my neighborhood ever. So I think, people from Battle Hill will know as mayor, I've come there. And this year we have John Cambieri running, and he's from Battle Hill. And he's a great guy. I do want to do a shout out, and I was going to do it at the end. I'm going to do it now. Our 3 council members are great. If you had an opportunity to meet them, Roberto Rapere, you have John Cambieri, and Will Flores. They're fantastic. And John is from Battle Hill, and he's a great guy, and he will do a great job for Battle Hill. I know it. But that's one of the problems I've always seen. Sometimes we get a whole bunch of council people clustered in one area. I've seen it before. So that's why I like the idea of districts, so that everybody has someone local they can report their problems to, who understands their problems. And then that person is their advocate. That may also, they keep saying they need a legislative aid, and which they have now, which is kind of ridiculous for the council, because we never needed that before. So we're paying an additional employee for them to do their job. But I think also with this, that person is just dealing with their neighborhood and pushing their issues forward. So thank you so much for that. Victor, if you do end up elected, I would be more than glad to engage in those conversations. Regardless of the result, I look forward to your continued highlight of the issues that affect White Plains. So very good. Thank you. I look forward to it as well. Dominic, Election Day is a city holiday. City employees are not getting paid OT to pick up leaves. Do you agree with this? I read it back. I read it wrong. I apologize, Dominic. City employees are getting paid OT to pick up leaves. Do you agree with this? It depends how bad it gets. I don't, and I'm not ducking this question. I'd want to find out more about it. Like, what is their reason to do that? Because if it's something where, hey, it makes them more productive because it's a city holiday, I doubt it, but I don't know that for sure. So I don't know. And if anybody has any comments about that, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to be educated more on that. I think we could do a lot more on our leaf pickup. The guys do a great job, but we have to give them all the tools they can get and make it as efficient as possible. Thank you, Dominic. If you have any comments, please, send them to me. Marshall. Hi, Lenny. I appreciate your attention to detail, and I love your approach. I am torn because I'm disgusted with the Republican Party at the federal level. Why do you consider yourself a Republican? Tell the library. I'm going to. Let's see. I scrolled too far. Okay. I will tell you exactly how I became a Republican. What had happened to me is when I was growing up and I turned 18, I went to my parents and I just said to them, "What are we?" And my mom started laughing. She was at the stove, as she was all the time before she went to work. After she came home, she was preparing meals. And she turned around, started laughing. She goes, "What do you mean, what are we?" I said, "No, Republican or a Democrat. I got to go register." And she goes, "We're not telling you." And she looked at my father to motion to him, "Do not say a word." She said, "Go to the library, spend the day, research them both." So I did. And she said, "Register and then come back and tell us." So I did. And I came back and she said, "What are you registered as?" I said, "A Republican." She said, "I'm a Republican." And she was immigrant from Italy. And my dad, who was born here, said, "And I'm a Democrat." He said, "But we vote for the person." And I said, "Great." And then they asked me why. And now anybody can disagree with me. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I love discussing this stuff. I am not a Republican because of Republicans who are at the federal level. That's not why. I get that some people get mad at this politician, mad at that politician, and then they pick their party, but that's not how I did it. I did it, and this is just my feeling, reading about the founding of each party. That's it. This is how I felt, that the Republicans, when they founded the party, said each individual's thought matters. And the Democrats were leaning towards more majority rule. And there was a conflict on that. Now, that's not how things morph into. I get it. But that's how I registered. Because I say, I don't care who's in each party. I'm doing it based on the root of the party. Now, you could disagree with me, and I don't have a problem with that, because at the federal level, there is a lot of things going on. I get it. But at the local level, we share all the same concerns, and that's what I'm running for, local level. That's it. I'm worried about White Plains. And to show you how much that I want this to be a unity ticket is what I did when I was asked to pick 3 candidates for council. I said, I don't want to know their party. I just want a list of people who are interested. And I was building up a list without party affiliations. And then I interviewed them. What are your concerns and how do you intend to fix it? And at the end of the day, after I picked 3. And I said, okay. And I asked them their party affiliations. 2 are Democrats, 1 is an independent. So party affiliation didn't matter. So I believe they had the right strategy to go about this. And we're unified in what we feel is wrong with White Plains and how we can fix it. So that's just me. I think that we need more unity, especially at the local level. In the local level, I'll bring one thing up also. My dad had a business, and in White Plains, we never cared what party people were in. We were friends with everybody. We didn't care what race, religion, that never entered into my home, ever. White Plains, I always thought was great, because we didn't have the issues you see on TV and everybody screaming and yelling at each other. So I love White Plains. And we have to continue that way. And we have to keep the federal divisiveness from entering White Plains. That's critical. So thank you very much for that. You can ping me at any time. We could have other discussions about this. I love it. Larry, will you be live tomorrow night? Maybe we will be. We might. I don't know, because there's a lot going on. There's another subject that's happening. I understand they called a meeting at the library to discuss the whole thing with the 2-tiered Con Ed billing system that people were automatically opted into. And I understand they're going to have several meetings, or at least 3 meetings on that. And I think it's because I stirred up a whole lot of trouble, because people were automatically opted in, and I don't agree with that at all. Government should not be allowed to do that. Hey, do you want to pay more? And then automatically opt in. So if you didn't see that notice, if you thought it was just a silly advertisement and threw it in the garbage, you didn't know that you had to stop them from opting you in for higher condensation rates. So I may have to be at that meeting. I was at the PSC meeting to discuss that a while back. And even when I brought it up there, people didn't even know about it. That's what's funny. So I know now they're trying to, it seems to me they're trying to sell their position that it's important people don't opt out. I think it's something like it cost us like 48 million or something in Westchester. I got to verify those numbers, but it's a lot of money people are paying extra to be automatically opted in. So we got to talk about that. Okay. Marshall, you had asked about why I was a Republican, and I appreciate your response. Thank you, Lenny. So I appreciate that, Marshall. And again, anytime you want to talk about it, I'd love to. Anna, Lenny, maybe if you are elected mayor, you can call a meeting with the landlord of those buildings and see if you can influence them to reduce rents for a certain period of time so that we can entice businesses to rent in White Plains. And once those businesses start thriving, gradually increase rents, but there would need to be a cap on the rent. What do you think? Yeah, it's not a bad idea to see what we can have going on, because if they own a building and they have several shops, I don't think they get it that if all those shops are rented, it makes White Plains thrive and makes them make more money. So there could be, I mean, I like the idea. It's almost like we have to educate them unless there's something else going on that we're unaware of. So I appreciate that. We could do that. We could talk to the bid and find out what can we do with these landlords. How can we make it profitable for everyone? It helps the city on sales tax. It helps the landlord and it helps the business owner, and it makes White Plains thrive, which helps all the residents in White Plains. Ray Wu, vacancy fines for unused space. Ray, I'm not taking it off the table. Certainly, I'd love to build a committee on this or build up the bid and us have meetings on this. I want lots of input because that's where we're going to get the best ideas. So truly, Ray, I appreciate that. It might be something we could do. I first want to look at our disincentive program if one exists, solve it there, and then we can keep going until we get White Plains populated with thriving shops and restaurants. So thank you. James, what changes day one when you're elected? Go Lenny. Oh, there's a lot. Day one when elected. So that's just to clarify, there's going to be day one when elected, and then there's going to be day one when I'm actually in office. So day one when elected, I say I'm going to sleep because I haven't. If you look at me, I'm exhausted, but I probably won't because I'll be so energized to start to get things done. But plans will have to be written out for everything. We have so many things that have to be done. I have to find out exactly what's going on in City Hall. Once I take office, I got to look at that budget. I got to find out why these garages weren't maintained. Why? We have a capital improvement program. Was it not being followed? The comptroller of New York State said our capital improvement program should be tied directly to the inspections of our garages so that the public knows that we're going to take care of it. And he recommended that all that be published in the city clerk's office for everybody to view and everybody to know the whole plan is they're actually acting on the plan that they adopted. I've never seen that. So we really have to take a look at the budget, capital improvement program, find out where the money is going. We do have problems. I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're insurmountable because I've tackled big things in my career before. Love to talk to you offline about it. I don't think they're insurmountable, but they could get to that point if we let it go any further. And that's why I'm running. That's exactly why I'm running. I looked at everything. I go, oh boy, if this doesn't happen now, we're in trouble. So I jumped in. I could be having a much cushier life right now. Trust me. So I agree. We're going to dive right in. Got to figure out every department, what's going on in the department. So I'm going to dive right in. I know the city very well, so I'll be able to decipher exactly what's going on very quickly. And then we start making plans. We got to make sure it's safe. We got to see the policies in parking right away. I want to see everything that's being done on affordability. Homeless. I do not like these bicycles everywhere that aren't registered. That's another priority. We got to have a registration process for the electric delivery bicycles. There's quite a bit that we have to do. So I appreciate that. And when elected, I'll do more of these and you'll get a more concise, detailed plan. So thank you. Thanks so much. Scott, I have another question, if I may. The former Galleria has stood boarded up for, I believe, 4 years now. Do you have ideas to redevelop the space? I read something about some late night meetings taking place in regards to the location, but I don't know much about it. Another reason why I'm running, because a lot of people have told me that they don't know much about it. But right now, they may be, I don't know, voting on combining the zoning so they can give the city property of a garage, which was taken by eminent domain years ago, and sell it to the developer so he could put 7 high-rise luxury apartment buildings, all rental, with some retail space in the complex. Not many people want that. I can tell you that right now. So why we're giving up our leverage to redo the zoning now, I don't get it. My opponent said I think it was at the Battle Hill Forum, that projects, even though people are upset by this, projects never actually end up what the plan said. He said it's a living, breathing organism. He said, and I don't know, I've never seen that before. You draw up a plan, that's what's approved, that's what you build. If you have to have an amendment, there's a whole process to that. But to make it like it can just morph anytime, that's no good. That reeks of, being too tied or too friendly with the developers. We don't want to chase them away, but this is a professional agreement. And we represent the residents of the city of White Plains, and we have this is a valuable city. It's a great city. So we have to work to negotiate what's best for the city. And they're going to negotiate what's best for them. And that's how we come to an agreement that's good for everyone. But I just don't have a feeling that's being done. But thank you. We do have to look at that. They may already pass this all before I get in. So we'll keep you abreast. Lisa, I agree with you that the departments are top heavy. Will you take a look at each one and make changes? Oh, absolutely. If they're top heavy, they're top heavy. We have to make changes. I know we have a lot of consultants, and that's probably why we have less employees. But quite frankly, employees at the lower level, and I hate to say lower level because they're more valuable than very often the upper level. So I don't mean that derogatory by any means. But I think we have to make changes. We have to take a look at every department and see the hierarchy. I want a table of organization right away of what's going on, because I remember what the table of organization used to be. Not every position, but a great deal. So we will absolutely take a look at that. Radium, will you be a part-time mayor like everyone else was? Absolutely not. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm all in. Even with this election, I think everybody sees I'm all in. That's the only way to do things in any job I've had. So certainly I will not be a part-time mayor, but thank you. Amy, hi, Lenny. Whenever I go down Mamaroneck Avenue, I see people passed out on the benches sleeping. I've taken pictures of it. I took my 90-year-old mother to the post office the other day in North White Plains, and there was a person at the bus stop with syringes all lined up on the bench and bags everywhere. We did call the police. What will you do to clean up the streets of White Plains and make it safer? One, I think we need more police patrols, beat police. People tend to not go, like if there's a couple of things. One, some of the people need help. They're addicts. We got to figure out how to help them. And that's where I mentioned about the county needs better and more facilities, not just clean somebody up for the night and release them again. We have to figure out how to handle this. And there's laws in place how to do it. It's not being done. I can tell you that right now. Also, when you have more beat police and you have more patrols, you get less of that problem. When you have more cruisers, you get more of that problem because people tend to not do that in front of a police officer. So we definitely need more community policing and more police presence to make it family friendly. Our police were always our friends. And you can talk to people in each community, and they should be our friends. They're there to help us. And we should be also respectful of them. That's the way White Plains always was, and I want to maintain that. So we just need more of it. So thank you. Scott, it's because of behavior like this that I'm hesitant to take walks with my 5-year-old and 2-month-old. You're exactly right. I know because I'm downtown in the morning and you see some crazy things, especially come down here on a Saturday morning, even the trash. Some of the places, the restaurants are very, very respectful and clean out in front. I see it. They're great. And then others don't clean out in front. There has to be enforcement of all that. That's one thing. It looks terrible. And then we have to make sure that we don't have homeless literally being all over the benches. We know that there's a problem when you have that. It is not family friendly. It's not that we just don't like the look. People need help. We need our city safe and family friendly. So I agree with you. Matthew Whitaker, very excited to vote for you tomorrow. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the Ridgeway Country Club property that has been empty for quite some time now. So what I understand is they're going to build 99 homes there. Now, my problem with what went on Ridgeway Country Club, and it's probably water under the bridge now, the city was offered that property several times. And I heard the last one was somewhere around $9 million. That's a steal for that property. And the city didn't go for it. Yet the people in office say they want green space all the time. They go on and on about this stuff. Why didn't they jump at that? I heard all kinds of excuses. Well, it would have been tough to manage. We don't know how we'd handle it. They could have sold it for double if they couldn't have handled it. It would have been a nice windfall for the city either way, but we could have handled it. Other towns handle it. Why couldn't we? We could have had a resident golf course. We could have had a place for children to go, beautiful parks. We could have done so much with it, but we could have looked at it. But now it's going to be developed, and I believe that's going to happen soon. So I have to see how far along they are on that, but I understand that that's pretty much a done deal, 99 homes there. So that's my thoughts. I think the city made some real blunders over the last, number of years. It's terrible. Jess, how will you work with the Democratic Council if you win? Truly, I think I am very easy to work with. If you're logical, you talk, and respectful, I'm extremely easy to work with. Now, my people that are helping me on my campaign may differ. Do you differ?
For the most part, you're easy to work.
I can't answer that and keep my job.
They're just teasing me. No, I'm really easy to work with. I am a unifying candidate. If they're making logical sense in something, I don't have a problem with it. And if they're not, if they're playing party politics, which I don't do, then I'm going to make sure the public knows it. And then I'm going to need the help of all of you to keep the pressure on. Because if they want to keep their job, they have to answer to you, just like I will have to. We all answer to you. You hire us and you could fire us. And that's what I expect. That's why I expect you to come to me. You don't think I'm doing a good job? You come and contact me. You talk to my people as well, anybody you can. Because I've seen too many politicians become self-serving. And the one thing I never want to happen, and truly, I think about it every day. Why does that happen to them? I cannot have that happen to me. I do not want it to happen to me. That's not who I am. So I implore all of you to make sure that if I ever stray, I want to know about it. Because I'm here to serve you. You hire me, you can fire me. You hire them, you can fire them. So please, I'll need all your help. So, Scott, if God forbid your opponent is elected mayor, what's next for Lenny Lolis? I'm just trying to get through tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm all in on this, 100%. So I don't want to make any decisions right now because I haven't thought about anything else but this. So I really can't answer that. We're going to see where it takes me. I always have faith that things are going to work out. I really do. And that's what this is about. I didn't enter this race because it was going to be easy or I thought this was going to be fantastic for me. Quite the contrary. I could have retired next year and have a great life easily because my prior job, I make a lot more money than this. It's not about the money and it's not about me. So I just feel it will work out. As long as I do everything for the right reasons, it'll work for me. So thank you. Anthony, hey, Lenny, how do we put the police back into control of enforcing the law, aka Martin Avenue, the library after hours, city center out of control, etc.? We just tell them to enforce the law. I've heard all kinds of things like, well, if they arrest, the DA may not prosecute this, that, the other thing. Just keep bringing the cases, one after another. If someone's breaking the law, we have to enforce it. Otherwise, you end up with a problem. Our crime rate is eking up. I've heard all kinds of other stuff. No, it's not. It's not. I don't see those crimes on the news. I don't hear about them, but I hear about them to the people it happened to. So I know if things are starting to happen. I don't want them to get any worse. So we have to start enforcing all the laws to the best of our ability, and we have to back our police department to do it. So thank you. Scott, Martin Avenue makes me nervous. My 5-year-old loves the library, but I will drive out to any other library because of the lingering of certain individuals. I've heard that before too, and it's a shame because our library staff does a great job. It's a great asset to the city, albeit the garage isn't, and the columns that it rests on, but that's my feeling. But yes, it is a great asset. They do so much in that library. Great people, and it's a shame. We should not have that condition. That should be another one of our jewels in the city, and we should make sure that people aren't afraid to go to the library. I agree with you. We are going to work on that, as we will Mamaroneck Avenue, everywhere else. Anna, I hope you win tomorrow. White Plains needs a change. I was born and raised here, so getting our city back to feeling safe is important. Thank you so much. and I will do my very best. And with all of your help, we're going to make this happen. And really, um, it'll be a great thing for all of us. Vinny, do you believe that we should have a police officer in every school to protect our children? So I have very, very strong views on school protection. I've heard all kinds of things. Like I never even had a problem with metal detectors or anything. Because my feeling, my kids are precious, right? As are all of yours. And if you were putting money in the bank, $1 million in the bank, you would want it vaulted up, taken care of, and guaranteed to be safe. We can't even compare the value of our children to $1 million. Can't even compare it. Yet we're willing to drop them off and have a teacher and have them run outside and not worry about it. To me, that's ridiculous. I always felt that. I think anything we can do to protect our children is number one. Number one. So if that includes having a police officer in every school, I'm all for it. That is our responsibility. Absolutely. That's my feeling on that. You would never leave $1 million out in a field running around. It's just my comparison. You would never do it. Ray, your opponent and longtime common councilman, Justin Brish, is founder of his namesake law firm in New York City. If he is elected, will he be required to step away from his firm? Is the mayor allowed to have side business while sitting in office? So that really depends. I have heard all different things on that. If the business conflicts, depends if, in this case, look, I know what his firm does, and he's a landlord-tenant attorney, and we're going to be renting a lot of places in White Plains, high-priced rentals. Will there be conflicts of interest? Will he be working for some of the same people who develop in White Plains? I don't know that. And we got to hold who's ever mayor into account. Are they putting their full effort into White Plains? I promise you I will. But we'd have to find out if he'd be even allowed to do what he's doing now. But thank you for that. Amy, Lenny, I'm praying you win tomorrow. We need someone like you to fix White Plains. Someone with integrity. God bless. Amy, thank you so much. That does my heart good. And we're going to be pushing right up until the polls close. And thank you for all your help. Just please, everyone, you got to tell your friends to vote. I can't tell you how many people don't vote. They say they're going to, and then they don't. They have to be reminded constantly. We need the vote. We can lose, God forbid, we can lose by one vote. And then you're going to say, hey, I should have voted. No. So, Amy, thank you so much for that. And this is a shout to everybody out there. Please get everybody out to vote tomorrow and convince people to vote for me. That's critical. Radium, can you make free parking for holiday shopping and Sunday? So in some places we have it, not everywhere. And we used to have that. When I worked for the city, we had that, and somehow it went away. My opponent said that he brought it back. It's not anything what it used to be. We have to do more, especially for holiday shopping. We used to be a buzz during the holiday time. White Plains was great. The energy, everybody. I mean, this is where everybody came to shop for their holiday shopping. And I know my opponent says, well, yeah, but we have Amazon now. No. It's a different feeling. Walking down Mamaroneck Avenue, having all the lights out there, people walking around shopping. That's what it used to be. You see that in other towns. You see it. We need that here. That's what we should have. So thank you. Anthony, how do you think the mayoral outcome of New York City will affect White Plains? It could. It could certainly. I don't know what's going to happen down there, but I know it has everybody up in arms. And when there is such uncertainty of how the city will be, it overflows into White Plains. So I'm not sure of what the outcome's going to be. It could have a serious negative outcome. Like, here's my feeling. I don't want White Plains to be a bedroom community for Manhattan. I want White Plains to have people here who are vested in White Plains. That doesn't mean they can't work in Manhattan, but they're vested here. I don't want it where a huge group of people, you're always going to have some, and that's okay too. We welcome everybody, but I don't want it where we have a massive influx in people who are here for a year, try it out and say, now I'll go to Stanford. Now I'll go somewhere else along the train line. I'll go here. I want more people vested. And that's what I fear. I fear that that's what's going to happen. So I'm really keeping my eye on that. Marshall, question about the county roads that divide White Plains. What would be the process to give more jurisdiction to the city of White Plains? I'm talking primarily about the 119 Chatham Parkway, Bronx River Parkway corridor. Yeah, I get it. There's been a lot of talk about that. Really, there has to be more discussion with the county. And we do have discussion. A lot of times we plow their roads or they do something for us. I used to sit on a lot of those meetings in the past. I got involved because we were also looking to coordinate traffic lights. We used to have the best traffic system in the nation. We did. And I used to go to those meetings to see how we can connect even traffic lights to control the traffic and make things safer, because there's a problem in a lot of areas. You have the county having their traffic system, us having ours, and New York State having others. What we wanted to do is interface all of them so that they would work together. And I don't know what happened with that. While I was doing that, that's when I was recruited by the bank and moved on. So I don't know the outcome, but we were well along those plans to have everything interfaced. So I don't know what happened, but that's going to be one of those things I'm going to check right away because I'm well aware of how that works. And if we coordinate, and it's all about negotiation, right? They may not want something and we do, but if we feel something is safer for the Battle Hill region because of that Bronx River Parkway entrance, we have to work with the county and figure out how to solve that. And it should be. That's been talked about forever. Last 16 years, I don't know what happened. That should have been addressed. That should have been addressed. And I didn't hear anything about it until now, which is a shame. Scott, are there any internal polling trends that your team is aware of? So, yeah, the polling is really tough because we're a grassroots campaign. We need every dollar because we got like $50 donations from people. That's how we ran this campaign. We weren't funded by any developers. None of that happened. The other side got a lot of money. And, you know, you see it from the landlords, developers everywhere. We didn't. So polls cost a lot. We would certainly not spend our money on them. And plus in White Plains, it doesn't really matter too much because there's such apathy because people have been, believe it or not, I think people were disgusted with government. We want to change that and we got to get everybody out to vote. That's the most important thing. So I appreciate that. When I'm mayor, will I turn the fountains back on? So the city center fountains, I have to find out what's going on with them. I've heard all kinds of things. I heard people were bathing in them. I heard all kinds of stuff. And a lot of that, I believe, is private property. So I have to find that out, right? Our fountains, where the Starbucks is, that Renaissance Plaza area, those fountains have become kind of lackluster. Because, you know, they're not doing any dancing. They're not doing any of that because I was very familiar with that and how it coordinates with the sound system, everything. It was a very nice system. It was all computerized. But those jets have to be maintained constantly. I remember that back in the day. There's a lot of work there. And I don't think that's been maintained because I haven't seen it do anything spectacular in a long time. And that was the purpose of that, to attract people downtown, that we're a spectacular city. We had gum busters cleaning the sidewalks. We had fountains. We had the police walking the streets. That's not that many years ago. It's not like I'm bringing back some fantasy world. This was very different not that many years ago. So we really have to get things happening. Susan, agree. Every vote counts. All the best wishes for tomorrow results. You are the best man for the job. God bless. Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Lenny, this is from Amy. When you're mayor, can you please fix the clock at the train station so it doesn't read 12 o'clock all the time? What's with that? I guess they figure it's going to be right twice a day. So I don't know why we can't fix it. I've heard of all elaborate plans. They want to tear it down and put up something new. And I've seen drawings that to me looked horrendous. But really, just fix the clock, right? I agree with you. So I will certainly look at that. Absolutely. Lisa, if City Center doesn't turn the fountains on, perhaps you can insist they plant flowers. So it is private property. I'd have to see what we can do. There may be agreements tied to various things. I have to look at the agreements. And we can see what we could do there. You would figure as private property and they want to entice people, they would make that beautiful. That's what you would assume. We're going to have to put pressure that they do. Radium. I remember the gum busters. Oh, I'm glad. I've been trying to explain to people what they do. The steam-driven gum busters that took the gum off the sidewalks. And we used to have the police even tell people, don't spit your gum out on the sidewalk. Not nasty, but why are we doing that? We want a beautiful city, right? And it sounds silly, but when you allow that, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Scott, thank you for mentioning traffic lights. The traffic algorithm in White Plains is an absolute nightmare. One light will turn green, all for a huge flux of traffic to move one block right into another red. The lights from the county center straight to South Broadway are the worst pattern I've ever seen. Will the light sequences be reevaluated? I think I want to reevaluate that whole system because back in the day, I don't know if they're still using it, but it was a system called Transcore. If I have it right, it's been a number of years, and it was a phenomenal system. And we always made sure that we could move traffic. But I've heard a lot of stuff that the administration wants to slow down traffic, slow it down. If we could slow it down a lot, then there'll be no accidents and people won't get hurt. But there'll also be nobody coming to White Plains. Again, it's all balance. So we have to have light sequences, especially at rush hour in the morning and at night, to really make sense. So I agree with you. I've been saying that myself. I drive along the roads and I'm like, wow, I just hit every single red light and I could drive to another community and I'm still stuck in White Plains for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a little ridiculous. I agree. Vinny, the fountain was all redone with new lights and new water cannons and a new sound system, and they don't use it. All that money went to waste. Wow, that's amazing. So we spent the money and we just don't use it. That's crazy. I appreciate that. And I'm going to have to know all these things throughout the city because we're going to fix everything. But now it's time to wrap it up. Tomorrow's the big day. We need everybody to call all your friends. That's what we need. You know, if everybody out there calls 10 people, convinces other people to vote who haven't, they usually don't vote off election year. But if everybody does that, We have this. This is easily doable. We're all in this together. We just need everybody to do it. We have great council candidates. We have great candidates across the board. So please, if everybody convinces someone, set a goal for 10 people tomorrow. If you get 5, that's great. But just convince people to go out and vote, especially those who don't normally. And obviously, make sure they're voting for me. Because if they're not, then don't convince them. But seriously, we just have to convince people to vote. I so much appreciate all the goodwill people have shown. Walking around the streets, I have to tell you, 90% of the people have been great. They really have. So I want to keep this going. I appreciate everything everybody has done. And let's just keep it going until the polls close tomorrow night, because that's what I'll be doing and that's what my team will be doing. So thank you all very much. God bless you all. Truly, thank you so much. When this campaign started, I had one goal: to tell the truth, no matter who it made uncomfortable. We've spent months uncovering what City Hall tried to hide. A garage collapse they call a fluke, while 40 more sit uninspected. A broken inspection system that the state warned about, and $1,800 from the garage owner to the councilman now asking for a promotion. We exposed executive sessions held behind closed doors. We live streamed what they wouldn't. We showed up when they didn't. And we are filing a lawsuit because someone has to. You've seen the difference. You've seen what it looks like when a campaign isn't run by insiders, but by neighbors, people who care about safety, about fairness, and about real leadership. Now it's up to you. Your vote is the only thing they can't ignore. Election day is tomorrow. If you want honesty, vote for me. If you want accountability, vote for me. If you want a mayor who works for you, vote for me. And if you believe White Plains deserves better, safer streets, responsive government, and a city hall that puts people first, let's finish the job together.